We've been together for literally 11 years, guys. It's a long time, so we'd love to do this to be able to add value and help you. We'd love to do this to be able to add value and help you guys out. So that's the only way we're going to do this. If you guys share this or if you guys ask questions, make this all formal or like structured. Like literally, we're going to kind of just like wing this and make it supernatural. Right?
Literally, I almost blacked out this morning. I was like, maybe
Señorita Lisette Martinez, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Is that a little bit weird that I say Martinez, or have you gotten used to it?
It's a little bit weird.
It's a little bit weird?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's because you're not Amiano anymore, right?
Yeah. A little off.
Well, baby, I just want to say, thank you for coming on the show. And, I'm like 450 episodes in. I don't know if you know that. 6 years doing this, and this is the first time that I have you on. So I think it'll be cool, though. We were talking about this, guys. I'll tell you the backstory. We were at dinner and doing date night, and, Lisette, she was saying we should do a podcast episode and, have people just like, submit questions. We can talk about, our relationship, our ups and downs, why we moved to Texas, the whole thing, right? And then literally a day before, I was like, babe, we're going to do it. And I could tell she was getting cold feet. Were you a little bit nervous?
Literally, I almost backed out this morning. I was like, maybe I swallowed more than I could chew.
But guys, I think what we're going to do here is like, we're not going to sit here and make this all formal or like structured. Like literally, we're going to kind of just like wing this and make it supernatural, right? So we came up with like some topics that we thought that you guys would like to, listen and think about as couples, right? And we got our little dog, Mamba, right here. He's going to chew everything, so I have to watch him. But we have some topics here. And guys, honestly, just be 100% real, with the feedback. Whether you're watching this on YouTube or you guys are watching it, just share it on Instagram. You guys don't have to post it on your guys' grid or anything like that. Just share the story, screenshot, tag Lisette, and then tag me. And that'll let us know if you guys like it. You know what I mean? Like, you guys can ask questions, and we can be an open book. We can do these like once a month to where it can help couples out, right?
Don't get too ahead of yourself.
We've been together for literally 11 years, guys. It's a long time, so we'd love to do this to be able to add value and help you guys out. So that's the only way we're going to know is if you guys share this or if you guys ask questions in YouTube, okay? So basically, we'll just kind of free flow this, right? We'll talk about different topics, but is there anything you want to talk about first before I kind of like dive in head first?
Honestly, this is your podcast. I'm just here as a guest, and whatever you throw at me.
All right.
Cool. I guess we can do.
The first thing I want to ask too is like, okay, we've been together 11 years, right?
Yeah.
Is it different now that we're married compared to when we were just boyfriend, girlfriend, or we got engaged for 2 years?
At first I thought to myself it's like the same, but I think the title of a wife and like that responsibility as like your wife, you're my husband now, it does change things a little bit, to be completely honest. Like,
it does, right?
It does a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels a bit different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree. I felt like there was like a little bit more kind of like pressure, now that like we kind of tied the knot, we made it, actual like, marriage and, kind of like, planning out for things for the future. So I feel it's a little bit different, I do, but again, we've been together 11 years. We've been through a lot of stuff, you know what I mean? So it's just like, it's not a complete 360, but I do definitely feel like there's a little more pressure, a little bit more expectations, you know what I mean? So
I think the expectation part, like the planning of our future, the like really sitting down and being like, okay, this is what our 5-year plan, that kind of thing, really, like, that's the one thing that I feel like really stresses me out.
And something we did, guys, starting this year is like, every month we have like our finance like meeting, right? Just figuring out like the bills, all those type of things. And we never used to do that, when we were just kind of boyfriend, girlfriend, or even engaged, So I feel like that's been a step up thing, kind of just to really put our finances, at the forefront, figure that out, making sure like we're being responsible like adults, right?
A little bit more stressful.
Yeah, definitely, right?
It's good stress.
For
sure.
Just a glass of wine or something like that before we talk about it,
Yeah.
All right, baby. I want to talk about, just moving to Texas, because a lot of people, if maybe they know, maybe they don't know, but we're basically born and raised in California, right? And we've been spoiled by like the weather out there, being close to beaches. We've lived in Orange County, close to San Francisco. I mean, beautiful Sonoma County, our hometown. in Los Angeles too. You know, we were there 7 years before we moved here to Texas in the pandemic. So maybe you could just tell people, you know, what was the biggest reason that like had us move from like, you know, LA to basically Texas?
Honestly, the pandemic really itself, like, is why we really moved. I feel like we were really just overpaying for an apartment, and we kind of just wanted a little bit more freedom, more liberty, just like a better way of living. And we knew that in LA we just weren't gonna have that. We knew that we were gonna either need to be making a lot of money for the lifestyle that we wanted, or have to live in a small apartment, because we wanted to be in like the middle of everything really when we were in LA.
Right.
So for what we wanted, I don't think we could have gotten it.
Yeah.
In
And
LA.
what would you say is like something like, I don't know, 2 years now being here in like, you know, Dallas, Texas, and Frisco's obviously beautiful, right? It's grown on us, but what do you think is like, you know, the first question, the biggest thing you miss about like LA?
The beach.
The beach?
And the weather. Like, you cannot get that here. You know, honestly. As much as we want, like, I'm sorry, but that weather, it's like December, January, February, when everybody's having a winter storm, you're going to the beach in shorts and like just hanging out, and it's so nice.
Yeah.
You don't get that here.
Yeah.
And our summers are gnarly.
Yeah, no, that's true, guys. Like that's one of the biggest things that kind of was like shocked us was, you know, the heat here in Texas, especially in the summers, and then it's actually snowed a couple times that we've been here. You know, I think in January, February, that completely threw us off. We're like, what the heck? Like we didn't sign up for this, especially snow. You know what I mean? But luckily it was only like 2 days. But what would you say too now, just like being in Frisco? You know, knowing what you know now, kind of getting adjusted to it. What would you say that your favorite thing is now about kind of Frisco, Texas?
Honestly, I just love that I get so much space in our house. Like, we have a really nice like home, and our neighborhood is really, really nice. I mean, I like this area. You get like your high-end like places, and then you get like holes in the walls and stuff. So it's like we get a little bit of everything here, and I like that.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think just it's just different out here, the way they run the city, and this is the way they should run the city, like out in LA. You know, there's like structure out here. The streets are clean, like, you know, no judgment or anything like that, but you don't see any homelessness out here, you know? And when you live in Los Angeles and you're paying those type of, you know, rent fees and taxes as a business owner, and literally you can be in Beverly Hills and you can, on the street corner, you know, see a homeless guy there, you know, peeing or something like that, right? In my opinion, it shouldn't be like that. So when you're here in Frisco, Texas, you really appreciate the way like the city is being ran, you know, and that's how it should be ran. You know, it's very clean, it's very structured. You know, people are respectful. They want to keep basically like their front porch like, you know, swept and clean. I just think that that's how it should be as a city. You know, it's made me appreciate it. Yeah. You know. Yeah. So, what I want to talk about next is basically, you know, if we back this up, right? We got married in January.
We did.
And we were together for 10 years before that, right? And a lot of people.
Waited a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we literally got married in 6 weeks, right? So kind of talk about why do you think kind of just putting that pressure of like, you know, a 6 week kind of turnaround with the wedding instead of being like, oh, we're going to plan it out for like, you know, 6 months and do the whole wedding thing, you know?
I think we were really just planning for a really long time. Like, we got engaged October of 2019. And right away we were like, okay, we're gonna do a destination wedding. Then the pandemic hit. Then we moved. And then life just happened. You know, I started a business.
Yeah.
We moved. It was just so much stuff going on that one day, like, him and I were just at dinner and we're like, what are we waiting for? Like, if we want the perfect timing of, you know, like everything's gonna fall together. It didn't seem like it at December of last year, or was it like November of last year, that it was gonna happen anytime soon. And honestly, at that time, we were just really big into like, I mean, we still are into our faith and God and doing really God's way of life.
Yeah.
And for a really long time, we weren't doing that. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? I want to be married. I want to be your wife. Like, I want to start doing things the right way. And we were like, let's just do it. And it felt very rushed, but I think everything happened just so perfectly for us. It was beautiful. It was intimate. We did it in like 3 days. We kind of cheated the system and kind of got married, and then had like a gathering the next day. So we kind of had like 2 kind of weddings, which was kind of cool. But yeah, that's really just our heart. I think our hearts were in the right place at that time. We're like, you know what, let's just elope, let's just do it. And that's really why.
Yeah, I think like we made the right decision because it put a little pressure on us, right? Because, you know, I think like, you know, planning it out 6-12 years, I mean, it's cool, but that put some pressure on us where it's like, okay, we got to actually move fast and actually get stuff done. And guys, we were blessed with some really good family and friends that really helped. All right, just give me 1 second. We'll get back to the training, okay? Now look, if you are looking to enhance your content, if you're looking to really build what we call a content machine, okay? We have this awesome worksheet for you. So just check out the link below and you guys can download this awesome worksheet where there's like 3 or 4 different type of like exercises in there. You guys can really roll out some brand new content for your guys' online audience, your guys' brand, your offer, okay? Now back to the training. Helped us out during that wedding. So if you guys are listening to this, again, thank you guys so much for that. It was really awesome. And, you know, we didn't even expect this to be like, we had like 60 people there.
Yeah, we said we were only going to have 20 people, by the way.
Yeah, so we ended up having like, you know, 60 people there, and everybody was just like really helping out. It was at this beautiful Airbnb in Hillsburg, you know, California, like, you know, wine country. And like you said, you know, we got to do like, you know, basically 2 things, right? The day before and then the actual wedding, the ceremony, and then just chill at the Airbnb. So it was super awesome, you know?
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, so.
Right away, he was like, we should do this again next year. And I was like, yeah. Let's do it again next year.
Yeah. Unless you want to divorce me, right?
Stop. We don't believe in that.
Yeah, but something you mentioned too, babe, was you know, our faith. It's really grown since we've been out here, you know, in Frisco, and that's something we were kind of missing out there, living in California and especially in LA. You know, so that's something I'm super proud of, like you, to see you just growing into your faith and being like a woman of faith, you know, and kind of the journey that I'm on. You know, it hasn't been easy by any means because it's very easy to kind of live life through the flesh, right, and do things our way instead of doing it God's way and actually doing it through the Spirit, right? But I think we're headed on the right path, and we're not perfect by any means, you know what I mean? But you know, we're in this for the long game to, like, you know, really put God first and be in our faith, and you know, eventually, if we do have kids, you know, actually teach them that stuff, you know.
We're gonna have kids.
We're gonna have kids. Okay, that's the next question. When are we gonna have kids?
Wow. You know, I always like to put a timeline on my things, and clearly that doesn't work when I do things on my own timing. Clearly, we were together for 10 years, and it took us 11 years to get married, or whatever the timeline was. But I honestly, whenever God just blesses us, you know, like I tell myself, I keep telling myself, oh, in a year or in 6 months we'll start trying, or I try to give my family timelines of like, oh, next year, or your mom asks every single time I talk to her.
Our mom, she wants a grandkid.
Really I gave her another dog, so but honestly, it's all in God's timing. Like, I'm open to any time I'm blessed with a baby. Like, I don't want to say I'm trying or not trying. I just, when it happens, it happens.
Yeah. But I think we're both on the same page. We definitely do want kids, you know.
I want at least one. Yeah. I think I try to tell myself I'll have 2, but I just feel like that part is going to be rough, and I don't want to do it again.
It's funny because you say that, right? It's like, we've had a dog, Zoe, so she's a Pomeranian. We've had her for about like 8 years, right? And now we just recently got this other dog. It's a Morkie. His name's Mamba, and man, he's a little shit, right? He's a lot of work.
Bad. Like, everybody who meets him is like, oh my goodness, this little guy is so bad. He just gets in everything. He grabs our stuff and runs with it. Like, I feel like he does it on purpose. He just like knows that he's the little blessing that we waited for so long, and he's like, I'm just gonna be bad because you guys held it off on getting me for so long.
So I don't know if that's what it's like, guys. We're not parents, you know, but it's like we've had Zoe for 8 years, and it's like, you know, that age gap type of thing, and we're just kind of like in our groove, like very comfortable with our, like, you know, day to day, our business.
It was very quiet in this
very
home without
quiet,
him,
right? And all of a sudden, boom, this, like, you know, disruption, you know. But it's been cool though. It's been cool just having him, you know, with Zoe, seeing her kind of come alive again, you know. So I'm sure there's some similarities, like with like kids, you know, but I just make a joke of it because we're like, man, if we can't handle these 2 dogs, like, you know, imagine having kids, you know?
I know, it's gonna be a rough one, but I think that like a year, 2 years, or whenever we do have them, I think we're gonna be ready. I feel like we'll be great, amazing parents.
No,
So
I
I don't doubt that one second.
Yeah, I agree, definitely. All right, baby. So one more thing I want to talk about. I don't want this to go super long, guys. Again, I want to kind of just test this out, get some feedback from you guys, and just add value. But you mentioned you did start a business out here, right? Which
I did.
I'm super proud of you for that, just because I remember when we got here of 2020 in September, and we were in Airbnb in downtown Dallas, and you were studying, to be like a lash artist. And I saw you just like, taking your courses, practicing all that stuff, and then boom, like literally fast forward 2 years later, I've seen kind of like the development, the growth, and you've had literally over hundreds of, women come in here and serve them with their lashes, so I'm super proud of you for just staying consistent and just, hustling, and serving people.
It's not been easy by any means.
Yeah, so kind of talk about that, because I think it'd be good for people to know like that transition and kind of what you've learned the past 2 years.
Yeah, so back in California, I was actually working, this is where this started. I was actually working as an operational manager for an investment company. And we franchised a business called Cherry Hill Drive Bar. Mm-hmm. And that's really where the idea of Giano Beauty Bar came from. When the pandemic hit, I got laid off. And the investment, they had done the franchise, but they just decided not to go forward with the opening of the dry bars because obviously there was a pandemic happening. And so we decided to move out of California. And when we made that decision, I had told Chris, I said, if I move, I'm just gonna be my own boss and do something for myself. And I used to be a makeup artist before that. And so I was like, you know what, let me try doing eyelashes because that was one of the services that our beauty bar was gonna have. Mm-hmm. And that's really where the idea came from, and that's where Giano Beauty Bar came from. And yeah, like I absolutely love it now. It has not been easy by any means. I literally moved here not knowing one person, not even a neighbor, not even a long friend, like absolutely we didn't know one soul here. And I would just start asking people, like, if I can do their eyelashes for free, if I can, I would just tip me or whatever. And I've been managed to take my business from that to pretty close to almost 6 figures in 1 year. So it's amazing what I've done, and I'm super proud of myself.
You should be.
Super proud and super excited of like where this business can lead me to and where I'm going.
Yeah. So where are you thinking like 2023? Like what are you thinking like kind of future plans with like, this brand?
Honestly, I'd like to have a storefront and maybe have a couple girls working either with me or maybe do some teachings. I don't know, maybe come out with a lash brand, or there's just so much things that I can do within the business that I'm not exactly sure where I'm going as of right now. So we'll see. I don't know. There's a lot of things that I can do.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about it.
I definitely see a storefront out here though, just because if you guys haven't been out here in Frisco, it's crazy, man. Like how things are just growing out here. Everything's just like booming and just
it's like perfect market.
It's a perfect market, So I can definitely see like a storefront there and just like different like opportunities there,
It's actually really cool because there's a lot of people moving from California, and I have so many California clients. It's so crazy. There's so many girls that come here that they're like, I'm from LA. Most of the girls that I do are from like either LA area or somewhere in California, some from New York. I mean, I get them from everywhere, but I get so many people that are just moving here. Yeah. So it's like, I'm really not taking anybody's clients. It's just fresh girls that are new to this area, which is interesting.
But yeah, it's crazy to see like just how much you've grown in 2 years, babe, just all around, especially your business. And it's just it's a good kind of lesson for anybody listening to this, to where it's like, don't make any excuses about you can't start your own business and do your own thing. Is it going to be easy? No, it's not going to be easy. But if you stay focused on it, you keep putting in the work day by day like that, brick by brick, and you just kind of just stay faithful to that, I mean, look what can happen. You know what I mean? Look what can happen. So I'm proud of you. Just overall.
It's been a big struggle. There was moments where I was like, you know what, let me just go get a job. Like I can do it. I can just go get a job, go work. I interviewed at places, and it's funny because I feel like God always brings you to exactly where you're supposed to be. And I think that we talk about this all of the time, like have faith. Yeah. But I applied at so many places where I knew I would get a job. Like I'm like, I can do this with my eyes closed. And for some reason, I never was hired. And I think it's because God really didn't want me to do that.
Yep.
Because I knew going into it, I didn't want to do it myself.
Yeah.
I just did it because I was like, you know what? Like, I'm just going to give up. Like, it's not that big of a deal. I'll just go work for somebody. And it just led me to be exactly here. So it's pretty.
And I remember I had those talks with you,
Yeah,
where it's like,
a lot
I
of
told you
them,
don't do it. Like, I'll literally pick up the slack, you know what I mean? I'll pay the bills, because I know what happens when you go into something like part-time like that, or put it in the back burner. Your back's not against the wall anymore. You lose sight and you lose focus and momentum. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm glad you pushed through it, because it's all paid off.
Yeah, and I appreciate you for always supporting, because I don't know if I would have been able to do it honestly without you, because anybody else would have been like, go get a job, because I could have. Plenty of times I was sitting down on the couch and I was like, man, I can just go work. Like, I can just go somewhere and get a job and make money and whatever. And you were always like, no, I got it. And luckily you were here, and things can only move forward from here.
I got you. I got you, boo. I'm no sugar daddy, but
I know you do.
Yeah. Well, baby, I think we're going on a little bit over 20 minutes. This has been good, So anything else you kind of want to talk about this first time, or anything else you want to kind of just leave them with, or anything?
No, I was just going your way. I'm a little shy, camera shy.
We want to keep this just honestly natural, authentic, guys. I mean, obviously we have some topics here, but there's a lot of people out there that do YouTube, kind of couple things like this, and they make up questions and stuff. So we didn't want to do that. We just want to bring up some topics this first time, keep it real. But honestly, guys, if you guys enjoyed this on YouTube, just comment below some questions, give us some feedback. If you guys are watching on Instagram, screenshot it, tag us on stories. That'll let us know you guys liked it, and DM us. You know what I mean? Anything you guys want us to talk about. We'll do this once a month. I have no problem doing this. I really enjoyed this. I think that you just needed to shake off those nerves. But baby, can you tell the audience and YouTube where can they follow you on Instagram and see all the cool things you're doing with your your
Sure.
brand?
So my personal Instagram is Lisette ANG LISSETTE ANG, and my business page is Keanu Beauty Bar on Instagram.
All right, guys, go follow her. I'll have that linked up in the show notes below. But guys, thank you guys so much for your time, your guys' ears, your eyes, and we'll see. We might be back in a month or something like that. It all depends on you guys. All right, we're out. Talk to you soon. Hopefully that conversation with my wife made you either laugh, made you think differently, or we just maybe embarrassed ourselves. Who knows though, but thank you so much for watching. The next thing I want you to watch is this interview we did with the man, the myth, Uncle G, Grant Cardone. We talk about how to close more sales and deals. We talked about how to crush your guys' goals going into the new year, and then also too how to reawaken the killer instinct that I feel that everybody has, especially you that are watching this. So check out this conversation here with Grant Cardone.